How's it going, lovelies? I'm Brandon.
I'm Gwen.
And welcome to Broken Hearted Cast. Tell me, what are we going to be talking about this week?
Well, this week, kind of going in with the theme of like Halloween and scariness.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about how retro is scary, or how like retro kind of stuff is, I guess, used in a lot of horror genre things, such as like just in general, like video games, movies, books, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, first we wanted to talk about the like aspects of retro that, and like why, like kind of how we figured out why it's scary and why it's used a lot. So like different aspects, we only put I guess 3 down, but such as isolation. Kind of like it's scarier for I guess like millennials and younger people nowadays, because like nowadays we're surrounded by so much technology and so many resources, and like
we can easily just pick up a phone out of our pockets and
so like if you're in a horror movie out in the middle of nowhere nowadays, you probably have a cell signal.
Right.
If you don't have a cell signal, you at least have GPS signal.
Yeah,
so
unless you're in
Google Maps.
Unless you're in areas like one area in West Virginia where it's a dead zone.
Yeah, there are a few areas where like even GPS wise it's a dead zone, but like GPS like is everywhere. So as long as you have a GPS, like you're good.
Yeah, it's like right beside the mahogany forest, and I know I butchered that name so badly, but if you want to like learn more about it, I guess just listen to the Adventures of Amnesty, because they kind of touch on it.
They touch on that?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, like there's that like feeling of isolation in retro, because the technology isn't as advanced as it is nowadays, and it's more limited, and just resources in general are more limited. So especially even like just with developmental like housing and things like that, like there's developing more like I guess society out in the middle of nowhere nowadays. And so you're not like back when my mom was growing up, like there were some places like at her farm or her grandparents' farm where like your neighbor was a couple miles away. You were literally in the middle of nowhere. Like if you could walk a couple miles in an hour, that's nice. You could maybe get to your neighbor's telephone in time to like call 911 to like report that like something happened at your home. But like if you don't have a phone and your neighbor is a couple miles away, like you can't immediately get help.
Yeah, you're screwed basically.
Yeah, which I think is another kind of reason why in horror movies that take place like kind of in 20, 30, 40 years in the past, they like to use being out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Like how Unchained Things likes to use it a lot.
Yeah, they use that quite a bit, yeah. But especially things like Children of the Corn, or any of like, I guess I haven't seen them, but I'm guessing like Chainsaw Massacre movies kind of thing.
Now, Chainsaw Massacre is actually based off of a real serial killer family.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like the setting.
Yeah, and that takes
just
place,
the isolation of...
Just like the serial killer family, it takes place out in Texas.
Well, I'm not talking about like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm just talking about like Chainsaw Massacre movies in general.
In the name. Sorry, it's been a long day.
It's okay. I'm just talking about like that kind of genre. It usually takes place on a farm or like out in the middle of nowhere, kind of like that, out in the country.
Yeah, another good place for a horror movie.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Florida.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially out in like the countryside, away from any of the towns or cities. Yeah. Even some of the smaller towns would be a good place.
But yeah, that's going off track, sorry.
Yeah, so like just that feeling of isolation, of like to a society who has everything handed to them, that thought of not having anything handed to you is terrifying.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to like necessary resources and things like that. Like that's scary. One thing you brought up, or we kind of both brought up, was just like how a lot of the people who horror movies are being pandered to right now were born between like the 70s and 90s. So kind of more or less like 80s and 90s. And so if you'll notice, a lot of horror movies nowadays take place around like the 80s or the 90s.
In the Conjuring universe, it takes place like kind of in the 70s.
Yeah.
/ 80s.
Yeah, and so like to us, like who these movies are being pandered to, this kind of stuff, like the kind of scenery and just the whole aspects of the things is like stuff we remember growing up, but we remember it when we were young and innocent. So seeing something we remember and like are very fond of being young and innocent
and twisted,
it's now being like butchered and
used against us
to like give us that false sense of like security, I guess.
Right.
But one you brought up, which is kind of goes in with the childhood thing, is real life events and situations. A lot of messed up things happened in the past.
Yeah, like how I mentioned the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And Silent Hill, because Silent Hill's an actual town.
Yeah. Well, the events from the movie don't actually take place. You know, like they're not actual things that happen, but the location is real.
Yes.
And I have been there, and it's on a hill, or I guess in West Virginia's kind of terms, that would be called a hill. In your terms of growing up in like kind of flatter Ohio, that would be a mountain.
Excuse me, I've been over there.
No, I know, but like
I have family over there. What are you talking about?
Yeah, to most people who would grow up in like the city or like in the Midwest, I guess it would be considered a mountain. But like for West Virginians, yeah, it's a hill.
And for those who know West Virginia,
but because it is a hill, it can be very foggy there. So Silent Hill, West Virginia is just like a normal place, pretty much. Huh. It's
Did Sean Bean go there?
Huh?
Did Sean Bean go there?
I don't know. Stop. Oh my goodness, you know references.
Still to this day, people can.
We're getting so off track, boys.
Winter is coming.
Stop. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to Silent Hill. Winter is coming.
Just to give like a couple examples of the real life events and situations, I would like to give a couple. You can give a couple because I know you have some on mind that you'd like to give. Kind of an example is, to me personally, the actual like scary, horrifying seasons of American Horror Story, which in my opinion the show has gone way downhill, but that's a different topic, were the ones that took place in the past. The ones that specifically Freak Show and Asylum. Those were the best seasons. And I think it was because not only did it take place in the past, but like I'm pretty sure all of the people in the circus, the Freak Show, were based off of actual Freak Show people. And not only that, but the like killer clown person in the season is based off of an actual serial killer clown that was around back in the 50s and around that, I guess, area that Freak Show takes place. And if I remember right, the asylum and the creepy, like messed up, twisted people running it are based off of real people and based off of a real place.
Then also, asylums were... Most of them are actually like that in general. Yeah. The most famous one is down in Kentucky, and I forget what the name of it is.
But yeah, it also kind of did give that look into, hey, these are what we would consider nowadays normal people. This is how they were treated back then, and like this is like what they went through in asylums to like basically try and quote unquote fix them. But yeah, like what I know that I could think of a couple other real life events that were used in horror, but while I'm thinking about that, I'll let you go on yours.
You know, I had the whole thing planned out about what topics to talk about like during this pod, and because of my Sean Bean bit, I totally blacked them out.
Yeah, your brain was like, it prioritized it, which is more important, this entire thing I had planned out for the podcast or a little Sean Bean bit. I'm thinking the Sean Bean bit.
I think Sean Bean bits are the best.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Just listen. Sean Bean's the best because he always dies.
Okay, moving on from that.
You can always like tell whenever like a character's gonna die because it's always Sean Bean. Put him in a horror movie and actually let him live for once. Why don't you?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Scrap Silent Hill. Who cares?
Make Sean Bean like
Sean Bean live
villain
again,
or like the monster in a horror movie.
Make him Ash. Live. Make him Ash. Forget about Bruce. We can make Sean Bean Ash from Ash versus the Evil Dead. Can you imagine that? Sean Bean as Ash. But
yeah, you had like a ton of examples.
Yeah, like Nightmare on Elm Street is actually based off of a actual teacher that got caught in a fire.
Wow, that's...
And on a different case, in this small town, a lot of kids were actually having nightmares about the same thing.
That's really freaky.
Yeah.
But
I thought you didn't know.
I know, like, that's something I always really liked about American Horror Stories, that they liked to try and make it feel as real as possible by taking actual real, like, history and incorporating it into their show.
Yeah.
Which is why, in my opinion, the seasons that take place in, like, current day aren't as good. Like, they're, because...
Can I add something for the American Horror Story thing? The actual story of Lobster Boy is completely messed up, especially after the show season ends. It just goes off the rails.
Yeah,
his life.
And the actual like person was very messed up and very like abusive towards the people around him and things like that.
Yeah.
So before we move on, we'll go on a quick ad break and then we'll be back with giving some more examples of how retro is scary.
Hey, welcome to the ad. Brandon here, and I hope you lovelies are having a fantastic day, whether you are listening to this. But up next we're going to be actually combining two topics together. We're going to be talking about the visual of horror movies, the retroness of it, and the audio. And that can also fall into black and white and Psycho and all that Alfred Hitchcock jazz, I guess you can say. That also, you see that little red button down there? Yeah, why don't you give that a tap? Also, the little thumbs up person, yeah, why don't you high five that with your thumb? If you enjoy our podcast, if you enjoy our gaming, or if you enjoy both, like, why don't you just hit subscribe, ring the bell, and also don't forget hit that subscribe button again, but make sure it's not unsubscribed. If you have to tap it like a few times, and that's, just make sure that you're subscribed, because that lets us know that we're actually doing our job and actually letting us know that you guys like us. And that's all we want. And if you have any questions, you can send them in and we can actually pull from the comments below what thing we want to answer next up on the next podcast. So yeah, let's get back into it. Here we go.
Okay, so now we've kind of discussed the aspects of retro and why we feel they're scary to people and why we feel horror tries to pander to us by using retro. Let's talk about a few examples of different, I guess, retro-y things that are scary.
Besides Sean Bean, I got it. Okay.
Your obsession with Sean Bean is very scary.
I don't have an obsession with Sean Bean.
I'm starting to think you might. A lot of the audio.
Hey, Sean Bean, can you like please like come on to the show, please? Thanks. Can I get my points, please? Yes, you can. Sorry.
So a lot of the audio examples I have, they go along with the visual, so I'll kind of try and mash them together as best as I can.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, you kind of can't. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like fluorescent buzz. You can have a fluorescent buzz without showing like the faulty like flashing lights, like because I also put down for visual faulty electrical. You know, like the whole thing of like nowadays a lot of people just have backup generators and stuff.
Back then they didn't.
Back then a lot of like most people didn't have that.
No.
So like if your electrical went out, like oh you're screwed. And like a lot of horror really likes to use the needing to go all the way down in the basement or the cellar to get to the fuse box.
And also you know what they really like to use is like the face piercing cam as they're going down to the basement.
Yeah. Also I think it's kind of funny how like people like will be in a severe thunderstorm and their power will go out and they're like must be the fuse box. It's like, I don't think you blew a fuse, honey. I think that the electrical lines got torn down by a bunch of trees and lightning. I don't think the fuse box is gonna fix that.
Yeah, also, how come not a lot of horror movies use, like, the transformer blowing as a jump scare?
Yeah, that would work very well. I was actually, oh gosh, when was that? That was back in, like, that really bad tornado that came through. I think it was that storm with the tornado that came through this area.
That came through Dayton?
Came through the Dayton area, yeah. I think that's when that was, that I was staying the night at your house, and I got woken up by, like, you live, like, what, not even a mile. You live, like, a quarter of a mile, maybe a sixth of a mile away from, like, your little, power plant thingy.
I live, like, 3 or 4 blocks away.
Yeah, it's, like, it's not that far away. It's, like, a 2-minute walk, maybe.
Yeah.
So you live like really close to that, and it got struck by lightning, and the transformer blew. And let me tell you, like it does sound like a bomb is going off. It's not really something you want to get woken up by, because I'm used to hearing like lightning strike nearby. I'm not used to hearing that because I don't live very close to mine.
Yeah. They used to scare me all the time, but now whenever it blows, I'm just like, oh,
you're
okay.
like, okay, it blew, whatever.
Man,
I've never heard that though in person though, so that scared me really bad. But
it's FaceTime for everything.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell like a little bit of a story, kind of going on with the flickering lights and the electrical buzz or the fluorescent buzz. I took a mission trip back in 2017 to Honduras, and to give a little bit of backstory, here's how my timeline went. For a full week, I had church camp. Then for about a full week after that, I had to work at the fair. Then the next full week after that was my mission trip.
Man, you wasn't home at all day.
I wasn't home for like a month. Oh, and then like I had like part of a week after the mission trip at home, and then we went to Kentucky the next week to go see the eclipse. So I was at home for like about a month.
Jeez.
That summer. That wasn't fun. You want to know also why it wasn't fun?
Why?
I always get like an ear infection fever thing at church camp, but it doesn't hit me until about like a week and a half to 2 weeks after church camp. Meaning I was fine working at the fair. I get to the mission trip and it hits me like a freight train. So they have to take me to this, I had like a fever of like 105 or something. It was bad. I was like really sick. And like my friends had to tell me to stop working. I was like pushing myself to not seem weak, and that was dumb of me. And they're just like, you are gonna die. You need to go take a nap and drink some water.
You're gonna be like He-Man, just toughen out.
Yeah, I was trying to toughen it out. It didn't work. I was really sick. So I had to go to this clinic. And
I guess you can say you was hot-blooded.
You need a backup, son, and just let me tell my story.
Got a fever over 103. Oh my goodness.
Stop. I had a fever over 105. It was bad. So they had to take me. It stunk because that was the night we were gonna go down like in the village. Like we were at an orphanage. Sorry I didn't mention that. But we were gonna go down into the like nearby village, and somebody had like invited us to have dinner at their house, and they were gonna show us like how they cook and like how they do dinner and stuff like that. So I missed out on all of that. But instead I got to go to a horror movie-esque clinic. So
I mean, that was probably just normal to them, though.
I get to the clinic, and there's like, I think there was like one doctor, because it was like nighttime at that point that they could get me there. They were even going to try and wait until the next morning, but like the lady who took my temperature and was like, this ain't good. She convinced them to like try and get me in like that night. So the clinic doctors get there and nurses are there, and like they unlock the doors and let us in, and like all the lights are out. Like all of them. Except for like one or two, and even those ones are buzzing very loudly and flickering.
Is it like the scene from The Walking Dead?
The very first like episode when Rick is like going to, yeah, it felt like that, because as you know what made it feel like that, as they're like taking me, I think I was in a wheelchair. Yeah, I was in a wheelchair because I couldn't really walk because I was so sick. Like my legs were like, I had glass bones and paper skin basically.
Yeah.
So they're wheeling me through this hallway, and like every couple of lights are lit and they're flickering, and some of them were like just going out and they're buzzing really loud. And not only is that happening, like there's nobody there. They had to of course take me to the room like in the back of the clinic. You know, they couldn't just take me to one of those first rooms or anything. They had to take me like all the way through the creepy dark hallways that like anything could come out of. So there's like nobody there, and there's just like medical carts just sitting in the hallway, and I'm like, if I get to die here, like, I don't think this is a clinic. I think they're gonna kill me here. It looks like they already killed everyone else. But once I got back in the room, it was nice. It was clean. The lights were not flickering anymore. I mean, they still buzzed, but it just felt like a hospital room. Mm. Like one of those ones that has like a bunch of beds in it and curtains to just separate them. Yeah, it was just like one of those.
Yeah, it's just like you just transformed like straight, like whenever you walked into him, you just went into a coma state. Wake up.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like that was like, I was just like, what is happening? Because like, I understand conserving like electricity, you know, by not having all the lights on. Nobody else was there because the clinic was technically closed, I guess. I think that's the other reason they wanted to take me either super early in the morning or like kind of later at night, and they didn't take me. Well, one of the reasons they didn't take me immediately was because they're just like, hey, we're gonna be leaving the compound like later tonight anyways, so we'll just take you then. You just have to lay here for a couple hours until we just like we're ready to leave. And it's like, thanks guys, thanks a lot,
appreciate it.
And yeah, it was a good experience though. Like the doctors were like super nice. They actually were like very concerned for some other medical things of mine, which was very comforting. But yeah, just the getting to the room was like, I'm in a horror movie right now, like I'm gonna actually die. It was very scary.
Where was you located in Honduras?
I think we were north of Tegucigalpa, which is like the main city. It's like the capital. We were up on this, the place is called, it's this like orphanage for kids who are like HIV positive.
Right.
And it's called, if I remember right, it's called Montaña de Luz, which means like mountain elf, or like elf or of the mountain or something like that.
Pretty cool.
Is like another name for like where we were, I think. No, Montaña de Luz means something else, but like the city or like the village or whatever where we were located like meant something like Berry of the Mountain or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it was a cool experience. It was fun, other than being very sick there.
I know that was really off topic, but
yeah, that was very off topic.
I just wanted to like get my bearings on where the story takes place.
Yeah, just that like fluorescent buzz, and that also that feeling of isolation, because like this clinic, because nobody was there. So, like, it was just me and a nurse and, like, a person from my church and the person who runs the orphanage. So, it was just, like, the four of us. And 3 out of the 4 of us were, like, traveling in a group. So, there was just, like, one other person there, like, guiding us to the doctor. And it was just, like, do we know this man? I'm just like, he's just taking us through this abandoned clinic, and I don't know if I'm gonna die or not. I don't trust this at all. Like, all of my... Like, I've been playing Resident Evil games, one of which takes place in a hospital, like a main level of it. I've been playing this since I was 6 years old. I've been preparing for this moment my entire life. I'm gonna die.
I guess it really goes to show where it's just like not what you expect.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I got to experience that fluorescent buzz and faulty electrical myself, and yeah, it's
pretty scary.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah, that was not a fun experience. Going on to the next one, this I think has scared children all around America and everywhere around the world for many years. It's the infamous TV static and color test screen.
What are you talking about? That still scares me.
Same. That thing, I think, honestly,
ever since
I think that the CDC or whoever is in charge of like psychology stuff in America should go out and open like PTSD like evaluations for like kids from the 80s and 90s and like see like if this is a PTSD thing, because honestly, like, I think if you like experience this as a kid,
that's why I didn't listen to white noise for the longest time.
Yeah, I can't do static.
No, like not just noise. Static, like anything considered white noise.
Yeah, I still kind of can't do that.
See, I can, because like they have like new themed ones on YouTube where it's just like, it sounds like that you're in Hogwarts, or
I want to come up with the sleep aid. You're talking about like sleep aid white noise.
Yeah.
I want to come up with one, but like it's like an April Fool's Day kind of thing where it's just like you're 6 years old, home alone, and all the TV stations aren't working anymore, and it's either color test or like.
You can just hear it off in the distance, and like you hear Robert or like trying to break in.
Yeah, you hear like there's like a thunderstorm or something going on, and like that's all that's going on the TV. Like I want to create.
No, I want like.
What? I also forgot to put something.
I want a Home Alone one.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, like.
So that's really all.
Like that's something that like, oh, what's the movie where the kid says "I see dead people" or whatever? They may not even be the same movie, but the one where the little girl is just like they can't find her, and then they like walk in the living room, and she's just like face against like a staticky television.
No, that's two different movies.
Yeah, I thought they were 2 different movies. But
the kid that says "I see dead people" is from Sixth Sense, and the girl in the they're sitting right in front of the TV with the white noise That's Poltergeist.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, I was getting them mixed up. But yeah, from like that's super Poltergeist. Like that's freaky. Like, and I think like if you think about it, a lot of horror movies that try to focus on the more retro stuff, they use like white noise, static, and color test a lot.
Even in the new, there's actually a whole movie called White Noise that basically talks about what if white noise is just another dimension to the spiritual.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. That's too weird for me. Or off topic, but yeah. So those are some very common ones.
White noise a lot, like the color test and everything. But yeah.
Going on from that covers all the visual stuff. There's more audio stuff, and one of them I really like. It's still I can't do it to this day. Like I go into like a panic like mode. My heart starts like I have like a major anxiety attack if I hear it. But I'm gonna focus on that one last because I don't want to think about it right now.
Okay.
There's a couple more here, and they're ones the faulty like the fluorescent buzz and all that. Like a lot of these sounds, just to like give one thing as an example, is Resident Evil 2 uses almost all of these.
Yeah.
Especially with the audio. So like the deadline on a phone, the operator sound, which I think they might be the same thing, but I honestly can't remember. Walkie-talkie noises. So have you ever Kaylee used to do this to scare me. Kaylee's my sister.
Okay.
Or my sibling. So they used to do this to me to give me a heart attack, is they'd go up behind me and take our 2 walkie-talkies and turn them on at the same time and smack them together to make the noise that you hear when entering the gates of hell. So, not really a fun noise. If you haven't heard it, I'll see, like, I'm going to give, like, sound and visual examples all in the description of the video. So, like, if you want to, like, if you haven't gotten to experience one of these hellish noises or visual things, you now will. It's going to be so much fun and amazing. But yeah, so just like that's not just the walkie-talkie sound, just walkie-talkie, like audio through a walkie-talkie is scary. And I think that really goes back to that whole childhood thing of like most kids had a walkie-talkie at some point.
Honestly. I had a walkie-talkie.
I had a walkie-talkie. Almost all my friends had walkie-talkies. Even like I was like compared to my friends. I had no friends,
so I would just talk to my sisters.
Same though.
I think the first time
sister and cousins. Yeah, like, my cousins all had walkie-talkies.
The sad thing is, I think the first time I actually hung out with somebody, like, well, I had a friend that lived like a couple doors down, but I'm excluding that. The actual official time that I remember it was an actual official hanging out was, I think, either in 6th grade or in my freshman year of high school.
Oh wow. Yeah, all my friends were from church, so like I got to hang out with them every single like Sunday and Wednesday. So
see what I'm saying?
I'm calling hanging out is like chilling out at church afterwards.
See, and what I'm talking about hanging out is like it's just the 2 of us.
Oh, I did that with my best friend all the time because like her mom would babysit me even before she was born. So like we hung out a ton because of that. But yeah, so with the walkie-talkie noise is like most kids had a walkie-talkie growing up and they played around with it, and sometimes they would come across maybe a channel they weren't supposed to be on or something like that, or that they felt like they weren't supposed to be on, because it was, if I remember right, some channels it was like illegal to listen in on somebody else's like channel on a walkie-talkie. So like that always terrified me as a kid, because one day my sister was just like, hey Gwen, look, I found a random channel, and I'm like, can you not listen to that, because I really don't want our FBI agent like slamming the door down and killing you or something like that, are you going to jail forever and ever and ever. So yeah, you I think helped me put down this one. Just we put down static, error, sirens, and color test noise all the same thing. They kind of go under the same category because all 3 of those you'll usually hear from the same thing, which is like a TV. So like if there was ever like the severe weather alerts, I can't hear those. To this day, radio or TV, if those come on, I enter panic mode. And I have that anxiety thing like where my heart starts beating like way too quickly and I can't breathe and I can't think straight anymore. Like it puts me into like, you know how like people joke around about like old like people who've been brainwashed or are secret agents and they don't know it and they suddenly hear their code word and they like flip out. That's basically what like these different like color test noises and things like that from like my childhood, that's what they basically are. They put me into like a panic state that I can't get out of until they're gone.
I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, can you remember? Do you remember like, I don't know, your family's pretty chill with like a lot of stuff, but like ever hearing like the severe weather alert, like, oh, a tornado's coming to kill you right now thing come on your TV? Did that ever like put you into that panic state?
Yeah, for a while there, my aunt used to live with us, and she already had a phobia of thunderstorms. Well,
so that probably made it worse for you.
Yeah.
Growing up, because now she's making it seem like it's 1,000 times worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
For a child who's developing and needing to understand how bad things actually are in life.
And for a while there, thunderstorms actually scared me really, really badly.
Same.
But I quickly got over that fear.
I have a love-hate relationship with thunderstorms because I love them. I love watching the lightning and hearing the thunder. But at the same time, there's still that like anxiety panic thing inside, deep down inside of me, that's telling me to go hide whenever there is one. Yeah. But then there's the other part of me that's like, oh, I want to experience this. And like I have this like internal battle going on whenever there is one of like, do I experience this or do I go and hide? I'm okay with experiencing them until like there's a word of like tornadoes or anything like that, or extremely heavy winds.
Then there's my family where it's just like, oh, it's a tornado, it won't hit us.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, those are some of the noises. One of the noises from my childhood, and a lot of kids are, thank goodness, not going to have to experience this anymore because nobody listens to CDs anymore, is CD skipping. Okay, no, I have two. Because the first thing, here, I cannot, the scariest part of 2001 Space Odyssey for me is the very end when he's singing Daisy. But not when he first starts singing it. It's when his voice starts slowing down. You want to know why?
Why? Geez, spoilers much, but okay, go ahead.
It's because...
Oh, it's the statute.
Okay, everybody, the statute of limitations on that is way...
I know.
That's a meme. That became a meme,
that was a joke.
Yeah. But it's because I would listen to these like Christian audio drama things on cassette tape, and if the ribbon and the tape would get messed up, their voices sometimes would get like super like deep and slowed down just a tiny bit, and that would put me like in a state of like fear, like pure fear. I hated it. Sped up voices, I could deal if the audio tape was like sped up a little bit.
Is that why whenever we used to play records here in the office, you never would let me like play it slowly?
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
It freaks me out. But that's why like that part in 2001 Space Odyssey, I can't deal with that. It's so creepy and like it makes me so upset. And like there's other horror movies that will use that, like slowed down, like not even like really distorted audio, just they slow it down like a tiny bit. They're like, we're gonna slow this down by 1. Like it's at 100 right now, let's make it 99.
Yeah,
let's slow it down by 1. Oh, what's that? It sounds just a little bit off. Perfect. That's gonna make them want to die. But yeah, that and like that one freaks me out a lot. And then I can't do CD skipping when like there's a scratch or something on the CD and it just starts like playing the same like 2-frame audio bit like over and over again. I can't do that. That freaks me out really bad. Like, nope.
Especially whenever you listen to like a Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, or like a Disney sing-along version of Pirates of the Caribbean. I had that happen to me constantly, and it scared me a lot.
You want to know why these like? Because I would listen to the audio dramas would also be on CD. So the reason why I think they scare me so much is because I would listen to these things to help me go to sleep. So you're trying to like go to sleep, you're listening to like these peaceful stories and things like that, and then suddenly they get really loud and start skipping. That wakes you up pretty quickly. It makes you like not want to go to sleep ever again.
That's why
it like triggers something in like your like primitive human instincts that makes you like go on anxiety mode and never be able to, like, you have like all this
it's
adrenaline.
A fight or flight.
Yeah, it is, and I hate it. But yeah, that's how I think like they use these things, because like I was one of the only kids of my like friend group that listened to like cassette tapes or like really watched VHS tapes like for a while.
Why is that me?
Yeah, like whenever CDs and like DVD players came out, a lot of my friends, they just like pitched all their like their tapes.
See, I always had both.
But like we didn't get a CD or a DVD player until like later on in my childhood, and I didn't get my own personal CD player until like later on in my childhood. But even then, I'd still listen. I'd always wanted like a CD a CD cassette player mix so I could listen to both.
See, well, we always had VHS up until I think whenever we got the PlayStation 2, and that's whenever we started buying more DVDs.
Yeah.
I think that's what.
Like we didn't start buying more like VHS tapes or cassette tapes or anything like that. Like we pushed ourselves to like buy more like DVDs and CDs and stuff because that's what we knew. We knew cassettes were gonna go out. But yeah,
boy, I had Ghostbusters 2 on the cassette. Oh man!
Wait, the soundtrack or the movie?
Yeah, the soundtrack.
Oh, sweet, awesome.
Dude, I would play that on repeat constantly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know.
But yeah, like I think that the reason they use those like audio tricks and things like that is because they know that like anyone that's watching horror, like who is at the age where they can even legally watch horror movies, like rated R ones and things like that, they use those things because anybody growing like those are things that are gonna be familiar as things that scared us when we were little kids. And so they're trying to they're basically people making horror movies using retro stuff nowadays. They're basically trying to give us PTSD, like panic attacks.
Yeah, because
they're like, hey, you remember that sound you haven't heard since you were 3 years old? I'm gonna play it for you now and make you like go into like psycho mode and try and like kill everything.
Because also a lot of people that are making horror movies nowadays are around their age group.
Yeah.
Between 20s and 30s.
And even like 40s.
Yeah.
So, like, they're just like, what's a sound that put me into, like, pure panic and despair as a child? Oh, a VHS slowed down? Or a cassette slowed down? Okay, I'm gonna put this, like, kind of audio trick in my horror movie to, like, put every little, like, millennial and, like Gen Y baby in, like, crap their pants. They're gonna, like, go back into diaper mode. They're gonna just...
Going back into diaper mode.
Yeah. Those were the parts of, like, some of the only parts of the It movies, the, like, reboots that actually scared me were when they did use some of those, like, audio things.
Sound cues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you got any more?
No, I don't. That's pretty much it. But, yeah, that's how we kind of figured and thought of ways that, you know, reasons why retro was... Well, yeah, let's just kind of finish up on that. So, yeah, these are, like, I guess, ways retro... We didn't really talk about that. How these are, like, ways retro scares us.
Yeah.
Basically, what it comes down to is childhood.
Yeah. You gotta take the box from your childhood and smash it. So any horror movies nowadays won't scare you.
Yeah, well, I wish I could do that, but I can't.
Just listen to Turn It Off in the Book of Mormon just on repeat until
that's the only thing I can ever think of. You know, but here's the thing. You can smash that box, but the pieces are still there.
Just sweep them up and throw them away.
There are microscopic little pieces that are now down in the floor that you can never get out. So you're going to think you forgot all about everything we just talked about. You probably thought you forgot about all those sounds and all those things. But now that we've mentioned it, you're going to start remembering all the times that, like, you were really little and those things scared you. And you're going to, like, remember how scary those things were now. So you're welcome, you know.
So, Yahoo Answers for the day is, I need a good list for all the classic horror movies, quote unquote, such as The Shining and the original Friday the 13th, ... stuff like that. I'm planning on having a classic horror movie marathon, and also, if they are really old and in black and white, if there's a remake, could you possibly please say that too? Thanks.
Okay, well, definitely for me, and I'm going to mention this in the next podcast we're going to do, is Children of the Corn needs to be on my list.
Yeah.
At least the first one.
Also, The Shining also needs to be on the list.
Well, they mentioned that already, but yeah.
Still.
Jaws is more a thriller in my opinion. I've never seen it, but it just seems like more of a thriller.
It's like a mix.
It's like a mix?
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you have a fear of that thing.
Exactly. If you have a fear of sharks, put it on the list.
Yeah.
That used to give me nightmares as a kid.
Yeah.
Because, you know, me being, like, a couple years younger than my sister, you know what would be a good idea for, like, my sister and my dad will do?
What?
Play Jaws on the living room TV as I'm home.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
My uncle, when we were really little, he lived with us, and my sibling was downstairs, and he decided, hey, what should I do with this 4-year-old's in the room with me? I should put The Mummy on TV and watch it. So my sibling couldn't look at, like, scarabs or beetles for the longest time, because what was the scene going on when they walked in the room? The scarab scene. The horrifying scarab scene. So now
the Mummy
scarred.
from the 1990s is, I guess it's a technical remake.
Is it? Because that's the one that it was like from 94 or 93. Yeah, like that's the one he was.
That's
playing.
Technically.
Which I heard that one's really good.
Yeah, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, and also I guess the third movie in the series. All three of them are fantastic movies, and need to go on that list.
Yeah. Tremors is pretty good. That I remember.
Yeah.
It's Alive is kind of weird.
The Thing? You never heard about The Thing?
No, I don't think I've heard about The Thing. I'll have to watch that. It's going on my list.
Poltergeist. Of course, Poltergeist. Both ones seem to be on that list.
So yeah, that's it for this one.
I had another one, but no, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you sure?
I guess Psycho, but that's like a given.
Yeah.
And Birds.
I've never seen Birds, but I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah, I gotta throw those in the mix, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, those were some of course, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
But besides those, I guess those are classic horror movie lists that you love things to watch for Halloween. Or if you're having a Friday the 13th horror movie marathon.
Yeah, because that's gonna be in I think December is
Yeah, the next one is December.
Yeah, I saw a post on I'll see if I can pop it up on the screen.
Christmas.
But somebody on Twitter was being an idiot and was just like, so the next Friday the 13th is in December. What if it's on Christmas? With like a bunch of dumb emojis, and it's just like, what? Okay, how do you mess up that bad? Like, I've heard that before, like years ago. I think there was a Friday the 13th, and there was like back in like 2007 or something like that. There was a Friday the 13th in December, and somebody said a bunch of people were saying the exact same thing on like Twitter and like stuff like that, where they're like, "What if it's on Christmas?" And it's like, that's not possible. What are you talking about?
What'll make it more creepy is if Christmas was that next Friday.
I think it is. I could look. No, it's two weekends later. Man.
Yeah, still, it's...
So I can't do math. 7 days in a week. I'm an idiot. Okay, well, we've established that a lot of times now. What we haven't established is that this is the end of the episode.
Yeah. And if you enjoy this episode, please high five button with your thumb.
Leave a comment down below.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to ring the bell.
Ding.
And also, if you'd like to support us and what we do, please hit that PayPal link down below and give us some money so we can keep doing what we do and making you lovelies happy. And we always like to, we don't like to mention our podcast on our show, but like any little bit helps.
It does, yeah.
And so like money in our hats, basically.
Yeah, like if you enjoyed this and you do want to like help us out, you can do that. But no pressure. Like we're still gonna do this. Nothing's gonna change if you don't give us money.
That also will shut you out on the show.
Yeah, like if you like let us know somehow. I don't know if you can let us know through PayPal if it is like. Can you leave notes when you like give people money?
I think so.
Okay, well if you can, like tell us what your like YouTube name is or what your name is. However you want us to shout you out, as long as it's not like too inappropriate, we'll do it.
Yeah, that. Then also leave it down a comment below. Whatever questions you have for any of for us or just about the topic that we are going to talk about next, or about like the holiday that's surrounding us, or anything like that, and we'll possibly add it on to the end of the show because I got Yahoo Answers constantly. I have to quickly look up the questions. And it'll make it easier for us to answer you guys' questions. So no matter who you
are, what you do, love and respect yourself.
Yeah, no matter what you are.
And no matter what you are.
Yeah.
Are you Swamp Man? Love yourself, man. You gotta love yourself, Swamp Man. Nobody appreciates Swamp Man, you know? He's just trying to have a good time.
Swamp Man scared me during the mini golf at Universal, but that's a whole nother story. No, that's a whole nother story for another time.
He was just trying to say hello and congratulate you on your beautiful getting the ball in the hole. And you
honed one.
Yeah, and you took it the wrong way. He was like, "Whoa, man, you got a hole one? That's awesome."
Didn't need to scare me though. I know.
Okay.
No matter who you are, no matter what you do, and no matter what you are, love and respect yourself, but also love and respect others. And next time we're gonna cast. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna start saying that. Oh, dang it! Shoot.
Yeah, you say next time.
I'm gonna start saying like the
the next time.
Next time thing.
Please do.
Yeah, where's the button?
It's the red button.
This red button?
Yep.